Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, The Beautiful Stitches. I love you all. I'm glad you're here with me. Today we're going to be completing our 6 pieces bustier top that we started earlier. Okay, here is my main fabric. This is the center front and the sides. Okay, and I've also padded the bustier part of the top. And this is my lining. This is the center back. And remember, we have our zipper allowance, and I've also removed the bulge at the back. So this is my sides with the lining. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is to pick the center front of the fabric, okay, and then also pick one of the sides, the matching sides, and then align it together. I'll take it to my machine and sew down from the top down to the hem of the top. I'll also do the same for the other side of the main bodice, okay, the front bodice. I'll also hold it down. And here is my lining. The same thing I've done for my fabric, I'll also do it for my lining. And remember, we have our lining, the area that the bustier will be marked out is padded. Okay, I did this so that it will lap on the front panel, on the front bodies. Okay, so let's take it to our machine and I'll join it and get back to us. Okay, all right, as you can see, I finished joining the front bodies, the bustier part of it, and the lining. Okay, this is my 6 pieces bustier. You can see the bustier is already taking shape. It has come out beautifully well. Okay, here is my 6 pieces bustier. This is the front panel. Here is the lower part, and this is the upper part. Okay, this is very beautiful. You can try it out on your own. All right, so whatever I've done for the main fabric, I also did for the lining. So here is the lining. You can see the cup beautifully joined together. So I'll keep this aside and then go to the back panel. So what I'm going to do right now is to place the center back and then open it up. Okay, just the way I'm doing it. I'll open it up and then pick up the corresponding sides and match them together, just the way I'm doing it. I'll also open up the sides, okay, and match them together, align them, and then take them to the machine and join them together, okay, at the center. Whatever I've done for my main back bodies, I'll also do it for my lining. Okay, so let me take it to the machine and join it back and get back to us. So guys, as you can see, this is what we have here. I've joined the sides for the back. As you can see, this is for the back bodies, one side, and the other is the lining also for the back bodies. Okay, I finished joining them on the with the center back and the sides. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to align them properly, both the lining and the main bodies together, and also align it both with the front panel, okay, so that I can cut out the armhole, the neckline. Okay, let me align them and get back to us. All right guys, as you can see, I've finished aligning my fabrics. Okay, this is the front panel lining and the main bodies, and this is the back lining and the main bodies. Okay, and here is my zipper allowance. I have 1.5 inches zipper allowance. Okay, as you can see, both for the main fabric and the lining. Okay, all right, so what I'm going to do now is to align them and then mark out my measurement on the fabric. Okay, so we are going to be starting with the neckline. Remember, our standard neckline is 3 inches. Okay, so I'll be marking out 3 inches, and then my shoulder is 9. Okay, just the way I'm doing it, I'll mark out 9 inches at the shoulder point, and then come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Just watch carefully what I'm doing. Okay, so we'll connect it down to the neck line. All right, so connect it properly to the neck line. All right, just like as I'm doing. Okay, before I forget, at the shoulder line, I'm going to come up by 1/2 inch. Remember, we'll be joining it to the back, the front and the back fabric together. So I'll be marking out 1/2 inch at the shoulder line. You can also do this after marking your main fabric, or you can do it before marking out other measurement on your fabric. Okay, that's my 1/2 inch I'll be using to join the back and the front panel together. Okay, so let's continue with our measurements. We're going to mark out the armhole. My armhole is 9 inches. Okay, from the shoulder slope, I'll mark out 9 inches and then connect it to the shoulder line. Okay, just the way I'm doing it. Also connect it down to the center front and down to the shoulder line. Okay, this is to enable us mark out the armhole. All right, so what we are going to do now is to locate the midpoint. We have 9 inches as our armhole and 4.5 as the midpoint. So we'll mark out 4.5 inches and then go in by 1/2 inch. Okay, and then connect our armhole. Connect it down to the shoulder line. Remember, it is not a straight line. It's not really a straight line, so it's a little bit curvy. And then connect also down to the armhole. Okay, just the way I'm doing it. Connect it down. That is for the front armhole. And then for the back armhole, you place your curve on the midpoint and then connect straight down to the chest line. Okay, as you can see, this is for my front armhole and this is for my back armhole. Okay, so what we're going to do now is to locate the bust and then measure out our bust measurement. Okay, our bust is 10.25. I'll be adding 1.5 inches for allowance. Okay, and then my under bust is 9.5. Just watch carefully what I'm doing. I'll measure at 9.5 and then also add my 1.5 inches allowance, just the way I am doing it now. Add 1.5 inches. This is to enable us have enough allowance and also for the turning of my fabric. Okay, for the hem, I'm going to just connect from the under bust down to the hem, or you can connect from the waist if you want to measure at the waist, but I want the flay to be full. Okay, and then connect it down to the hem. Okay, what I'm going to do next is to align this back properly and trim off this sharp edge. Okay, as you can see, I have a sharp edge at the center there, so I'll be cutting it out. Okay, making sure it's smooth, just the way I'm doing it. Cut gently, cut through and make it smooth. Okay, as you can see, it's looking neat now. And the other end too, trim it off. Okay, I'll also do the same for the lining. Okay, as you can see, the lining is having a little sharp end, both for the back lining and the front lining. It's just to make a little cut in there, trim a little to make it smooth. As you can see, it's smooth now. All right, back to the neck line. For the neck width, I'll be using 4.5 inches for our measurement, which is where I'm marking now. And then for the neck depth, we're going to measure out 6 inches for the front and 4 inches for the back neck depth, just the way I'm doing it. This is for the front neckline, so we'll connect it. Okay, just the way I'm doing it. And then for the back neckline, we're going to be marking out 4 inches. Okay, 4 inches for the back neckline, and then also connect it down to the neck width. Okay, remember 6 inches for the front neck depth and 4 inches for the back neck depth. All right, so let's cut it out. As you can see, we've cut it out. So we are going to also cut out the armhole. Remember, we cut out the back armhole before the front armhole. Okay guys, here is my front panel. I'll be joining it with the lining. All right, as you can see, remember the lining is shorter than the main fabric. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is to open up the front panel. Okay, just the way I'm doing, open it up and then place the lining on it, right side facing right side, making sure it's well aligned on the neck line. Okay, so I'll be pinning it down maybe after here and sew it from one end to the other. Okay, I'll also do the same for the hem, sew it from one end to the other. After aligning it properly, sew it down at the hem line. Okay, as you can see, I've done just that. As you can see, this is our front panel. I'll keep it aside and then go back to the back panel. I'll also pick one side of the back panel and one side of the lining. Okay, the corresponding sides, I'm going to align them together, right side facing right side. The same thing I've done for the front panel, that is what I'm also going to do. Align them properly and then sew it down at the neckline and also at the hem line. Okay, from the neckline there, I'll sew it down and also align the hem properly and sew it down too. Remember, the lining is shorter than the main fabric. The same thing applies to the other side. So I'll sew it down and show us exactly what I've done. All right guys, as you can see, this is my back panel. I finished joining the neckline and the hem line together and I just turned it to show us what it looks like. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is to turn it over, and then at the center back I'll be holding it down by ½ inch. Remember, I kept 1.5 inch for zipper allowance, ½ inch to turn the lining and the fabric, and then I'll use 1 inch for my zipper allowance. Okay, that is exactly what I'm going to be doing here right now. I'll hold it down from the hem, okay, down to the neckline, whichever way you want to do it. Okay, exactly what I'm going to do for this other side too, from the neckline down to the hem. Let me show us what I've just done. All right, I finished closing up the zipper area. Let me turn it round and let's see how it looks like. Remember to give a good press to your fabric. It gives you a neat stitching. Okay, so after turning it, I'll go and press it. As you can see, our 6 pieces bustier top is coming out beautifully well. Okay, I'll also turn the other side of my side of my back panel, just the way I'm doing it. As you can see, this is the other side of my back panel. See the way I placed it. Okay, remember I removed my zipper bulge before joining it. Okay, I removed the bulge at the back. All right, so what I'm going to do now is to give it a good press, and then I'll fix my zipper using my 1 inch zipper allowance to fix it. Okay, let me take it down to my machine. Let me give it a good press, fix my zipper and show us what I've just done. Okay guys, as you can see, I fixed my zipper on my back panel. You can see the zipper. I fixed it properly Okay, you can see it's looking very, very neat. Our garment is coming out beautifully well. Okay, so what I'll be doing next is to align my fabric, the front bodies and the back bodies together. Okay, and then take back my measurements. I will measure again to be sure of my measurement, and then if there is any excess, I'll trim it off. That is exactly what I'm going to be doing now. Okay, so my bust is 10 1/4. Okay, and we have 1.5 inches zipper, sorry, 1.5 inches allowance. Okay, here is my bust, and then that is the remaining allowance. Okay, not really up to 1.5 inches again. And then for my under bust, I have 9.5 plus my 1.5 inches allowance too. Okay, so I'm going to mark it out and then cut off, trim off the excesses. As you can see, I have a little extra there. And then the waist, my waist is 10.5 inches, and I'll be adding my 1.5 inches allowance. Okay, remember to align it properly, not to add the zipper allowance. Okay, place your measuring tape properly. That is 10.5 inches, and then I have 1.5 inches exactly, and then I'll be trimming out the under bust. Remember, for the hem, I'll just hold it down. So let me trim out this little excess. Okay, as you can see, so I'll be trimming out these little markings. Okay guys, as you can see, I've trimmed it off. Okay, so we are good to go now. We can join our fabrics together. So what I'm going to do right away is to turn my front bodies, okay, because I want to close it up from the sides with the 1/2 inch on the side. Remember, I added 1.5 inch, 1/2 inch for the turning and 1 inch for allowance. Okay, so I will place it this way, like so, and then hold it down from the armhole down to the hem with 1/2 inch sewing allowance. I'll also do the same for the back panel. Open up the zip, turn each side of my back panel, and then hold it down by 1/2 inch on both sides of the back panel. Just the way I'm doing. Watch my hand properly. You see what I'm doing. Align it and hold it down with 1/2 inch sewing allowance. I'll also do the same for the other side of my back. So let me take it to the machine and show us what I've just done. Okay guys, you can see, let me turn it. I finished holding it down with 1/2 inch. Let me turn it and show us what I've just done. I'll give it a good press, okay, and then show us what I've done. Remember, giving your fabric a good press makes your stitching neat and your sewing neat. Okay, so let me close it up and show us what I've just done. All right, let me give it a good press and show us how it looks like. All right, I've just given it a good press. As you can see, it's well aligned, both the back and the front panel. So what I'm going to do right away is to align both the front bodies and back bodies together, right side facing right side. Okay, we're about rounding up our sewing, so I'll align the shoulder, the back shoulder and the front shoulder. Okay, I'll align it together. Remember, we left 1/2 inch on the shoulder line, which we'll use to join it together. Okay, so we align it this way, making sure the sewing aligns together. I will do the same for the two shoulders. Okay, here is my joined front and back panel. Okay, as you can see, I've joined it together. As you can see, looking beautifully joined together. Okay, so I'll align it properly now and then mark out the exact measurement. Remember, we just have 1 inch to hold it down on the side. So guys, I finished aligning my top. Okay, as you can see, it's well aligned right now. So right now, what I'm going to be doing now is to measure out 1 inch on both sides. Remember, we left 1 inch that we used to sew it down as our sewing allowance. So we'll be marking out 1 inch on both sides. Okay, let's mark it out. Mark from the armhole down to the hem. Also mark on the other side from the armhole down to the hem of our top. Okay, as you can see, I've marked out the 1 inch on both sides. So I'll take it to my machine and join it before joining the sleeves. Okay, here's my 6 pieces bustier top. I finished joining the side. You can see it's looking beautifully well. I finished joining the sides. So the next thing we are going to do now is to fix the sleeve. Okay, this is an exaggerated puff sleeve. As you can see, for tutorial on how to make this type of sleeve, I'll be dropping the link in the description box. Visit my channel for a complete tutorial on how to make this kind of exaggerated puff sleeve. Okay, guys, so what we are going to do right now is to close it up on the sides and then attach it to the 6 pieces bustier top. Okay, so let's take it to the machine and close up the sides of my sleeve. Okay, all right guys, as you can see, I've closed the sides and I've also attached the sleeves to my top. As you can see, beautifully made and looking very, very neat. Okay, so this is the end of this tutorial. If this tutorial has been very helpful to you, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section. Okay, and also you can try this out. Okay guys, as you can see, this is how it looks on me. This is our 6 pieces bustier. Okay, you can see the bustier, 6 pieces, looking very, very beautiful. So guys, if you are visiting for the first time, please don't fail to subscribe, and if you are my subscriber, please hit the like button and share this video. Thanks for watching till the end. See you in my next tutorial. Bye bye.